Okay, it's going now. Okay, see something was blocking me there.
It's live streaming now. Yeah, I just got the notification.
Good. Excellent. All right. All right, so let me just take this. Got it. Use, so anyone who wants to watch here. So what was I saying?
About trade by barter.
Trade by barter and how we actually came about the value of money. Sometimes I actually even get the story messed up. But the long and short of it is this. Over the years, we figured out how to realize the value of things and assign them to objects, right? Now, with the dawn of the digital age, now, in order to actually make transactions easier, we decided that, okay, why don't we take these transactions online and then represent the value of these things? Yeah, represent the value of these things with numbers online. So that's why it's a lot more easier. It's a lot more easier for you to actually transfer money from one end to another. Do you understand? Because I mean, it's basically numbers that you're getting. Yes, that's what it looks like, but it's value that is being transferred. Because if you're holding money, if you're holding 1,000 naira right now, right?
Yeah.
God, how do they explain this thing? Is it that easy? I wish I could actually explain it to you. Like I know what it is, but I can't quite explain it.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about it. It just made me start thinking in another dimension. I'm like, this thing is just I know it's value actually. I actually know it's value, but however, I was like, okay, how is this possible that this thing is not going off your phone, bro? It's like small money though. So I'm like, okay, maybe later it will go out. I don't know. Maybe it's not. And you know, he tried it. He tried 3,000, was still there. He tried 5,000. There. I said, okay, I don't know. He doesn't have much in his account, but then he just came to me. I'm like, hey, look. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know what to tell him. I just said he should just chill. Maybe something else will happen. You know.
No, because when they do their reconciliation, and they will do their reconciliation.
Thought you started this meeting now.
Is Leslie on this call? Oh, he's off. Wow.
Wait, Leicester's not yet. It's not yet here. The only 6 I've been with.
Seems he got network issue.
Man, I will not live like this. Time is money these days.
I think he had an internet issue. He has his internet is weird usually on Fridays. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the internet stuff is, I think it's general.
Man, this country, I'm just tired. Just beats.
Electricity, everything. And
That's beat the enthusiasm out of me.
yeah.
I'm not even in the mood anymore for like there's nothing interesting about this country. Tired.
Yeah. Last time I was thinking about Nigeria, like being being concerned about Nigeria. I can't remember the last time.
They should just throw the whole country away. Why are you laughing?
You will like violence up and down. Jesus Christ.
I beg, they should start the country again.
And it's what to throw the country away. Where do you want to throw it to?
Baba, they said the whole country, I beg. Let's call it a day.
Let's say the country I'm in because
when we go Canada, I beg. At least they'll give us foreign passports.
Oh, well, all right. What am I even doing to this?
so late, man.
Like
Problem.
What's happened?
You know, say you say you go talk on this thing now. You go talk on portfolio and stuff.
Yes.
yeah.
I was actually going to review like some portfolios. That's number one. Today, I'm going to review portfolios. Next week, I think we can even have some like discussions surrounding actually what makes up a portfolio, you know, and how we actually handle case studies. Now, my current portfolio, which till this day has not seen the light of day, where is it? This is most likely it. Please, Lord, let it be. Yes, please.
Well, I think to get to a point, you don't need the portfolio again.
Yeah.
I guess a point you don't need portfolio again. Like you are the portfolio itself now.
That is only valid locally here in Nigeria. Outside,
Maybe I'm having issue here. You know, we apply for a job now, for instance. Guys normally have it. Send a link to one. When they say send a link or drop a link to so now, for me, I always that part everything, and that part for me everything because in my head, what do these people want? Is it website? Is it your Dribble? Is it your Behance? Is it your Figma file? History or something. That whole stuff is just
until it busts your head, I mean.
Yeah, they bust my head. That's the one.
Okay, so
and they'll say link your portfolio and they'll now
okay, so first of all, I think we all know what a portfolio is and what a resume is and how separate they are. Right, very good. So we're not going to be talking about resume because resume is basically like the condensed form. It's basically like the condensed form of your experience, right? Who are you, where you've worked, what is your serving capacity? You know, it's very, very thick. It's very, very thick and condensed, right? So that's as much as we can speak for resume. Portfolios, on the other hand, they dive deep into expressing. It shows a lot about A, the kind of person that you are. B, your process. C, your style. And if you're a recruiter or if the person that's reviewing your portfolio is anything, or if he's worth his onions, those are the three things that I'm looking at, right? Those are the three things that I'm going to be looking at. Elizabeth, please send it again. Okay, that's it. Those are the three things that I'm going to be looking at. Your how your process, your style, and what's the first thing I mentioned? Jesus Christ. You're kind of person one.
Haven't said yes yet.
How did I just forget this thing just now? Your kind of person, your process, and your style. Those three things, yes. So those are three things that I'm going to be looking to. And then they would now try to match those three things while trying to interview you. And they try to figure out if A, you're actually good enough for their team, and B, if you are a good cultural, or if you're a good team fit or a cultural fit, either of the two. But that's typically how they actually evaluate it. Now, because we live in an age of automation, most companies or most agencies employ what are these things called? Application tracking systems, usually known as ATSs, and most people just fail at that ATS level, and usually it's no fault of theirs. It's just because ATSs are like intelligent systems. They don't, or they claim to be intelligent systems, so they don't evaluate portfolios the way human beings evaluate portfolios, and it's one of the feelings that of most companies. You don't. When if you're evaluating like creative work, you don't rely on automation. Well, you can't quite blame them, because if you're a company now and you put out a job opening now, there's a fair chance that you receive at minimum 300 applications. Nobody has time to be looking at 300 applications one by one. So you look for the easiest way to filter and eliminate the bulk of them and to narrow it down for you. So that's absolutely, whatever that is absolutely understandable. So the next question now is, how do we now structure our portfolio in such a way that it represents us in the best light possible, and it ensures that we get a call back? Right. Now, notice that I'm not talking about what are the best tools to use yet, because that's a different discussion altogether. And hopefully we might get to the point where we might have to cover that. I think I wrote some things. It's not here, but I wrote some things actually. And I think this was from a different session. This was from a different session. This was from the session where I designed this. Let's see if this is here. All right.
Thanks, but we're not interested.
It's still what's the word? Oh wow, okay, file has been deleted. Fantastic. Need to fix that.
That's an issue. But we don't mind.
How many months?
6?
What are
They can't tell you.
Did you use a CMS for this?
This is a what's it called? This is what.
Yeah, like did you CMS for each case study?
Oh no, I just did it like. Yeah, I just did it hand by hand.
Okay.
Because if I were to use a CMS now, that would be more work than it's worth.
Yeah.
In as much as CMS is supposed to be working, it depends on the field or how you're trying to apply it.
To confirm this is
Exactly.
a harder
Yeah, so you imagine how you want to
You have to here
actually
going.
craft
and the red
something
note
for a particular
Mhm.
application.
70274 crimes against humanity. There will be no threat to
So
their life or reason. You'll serve the red notice with your non-lethal means. Stop fucking it out. Red notice goes your hand.
okay, so this. So what are the things that some of the things that we actually look at? One of the things that I highlighted in that discussion was, how important it is to identify our audience. That is, every time that we are showcasing our portfolio, who are the likely people to? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
For the background
There
noise
is
is
background noise, yeah.
Oh boy.
I think it's better now.
No, I think you can visit it, please. No? Okay, so it looks like you're gonna have to bribe my wife. She wants ice cream and chicken. She's with the remote, man. I'm powerless right now.
Give her ice cream and chicken. What's wrong with you?
No, this is fine. Okay, so one of the things that we're able to identify that day was, how do we identify the audience that we're designing for? No, not at the audience that we're showcasing our portfolios to. Now, who are the likely people that are going to be reviewing our portfolios? People know, set up people number one at design savvy people who are within our fields, right? These are the people that they are more interested, as in they would evaluate you based on your presentation, based on your process, based on obviously how you present your ideas and your aesthetics and your layout and all whatnot. So that's just entity number one. Entity number two are your typical job recruiters. Now, job recruiters, there's a fair chance that when he was posting that job, what he probably did was he went on LinkedIn and he copied and pasted the job requirements there.
That copy and paste stuff is so wow, like so much these days.
I know. So nobody actually put. So and here's another thing. In as much as it is inappropriate, you can't quite blame them. Do you know how many things that they have to do immediately? And nobody's automating them. How much are they even getting paid? You can't blame them.
Their art doesn't make sense. Like, what is must be able to design enough, like I don't know, must be able to design a nav bar or something like that. I saw one time like, and you take under heart the same thing, the same, like they don't change it at all.
They do, like, there's a central place where they go to and they just copy from the same thing. Yeah, well, it's appalling, but.
But I think the best companies, they don't put out job ads. They don't put it out.
What makes you think so? They do, you just don't. They do, you just don't see them.
Like they don't.
So what they do is they say, calm down. Don't just generalize like that. So what they do is they employ one or two ways. Number one, it's either they hire a recruiting company. Now the recruiting company now does one or two things. The recruiting company now comes out and says that, oh, okay, Coca-Cola is looking for a product designer and we're hiring on behalf of Coca-Cola. So they will evaluate your CV and do whatever evaluation. Some will choose to hire you on behalf of Coca-Cola. Others will just gather they'll gather your credentials, filter you.
Yeah.
If you pass through their initial filtering, they'll send you up to Coca-Cola so that Coca-Cola will evaluate you. Or they will come out and say, the company that we represent is looking for a product designer. They will not tell you that it's Coca-Cola. You can now say, okay, let's just do it like that. You understand? And then they will evaluate you and then they will send either they hire you by themselves. And after we did not tell you that, oh, okay, so here's this thing. Coca-Cola is the company you're working for. And we're like, oh my God, Coca-Cola, and all that fancy shenanigans. So it's either they go down the route of getting a recruiting company or they do it themselves. So what I mean by doing it themselves, they just throw the ad out there in the open. Like, okay, we're looking for a product manager or a product designer to handle XYZ things. And here's another thing. the people who throw out these jobs, yeah, sometimes they come on LinkedIn and then they put the
Yeah.
jobs. There's a fair chance that they will not post the jobs out there immediately. They'll probably want the jobs to go around within their circles before the job
Yeah.
now comes out in the wild and then everyone can apply. So there's a fair chance that within their circles, someone who they know would have applied.
Yeah.
So by the time the job is supposed to now come out for the circles into the world, now the role has already been refilled, and like there's no point in it. You understand? So that's typically how that works.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
like,
not it. So
I
it's not
tried-
this. What?
Yeah. Anytime I search those, it's always those low-end companies that always like that will stress your life. That are always
So okay. So where are you searching? Are you searching Nigerian companies or foreign companies?
Nigerian companies. I do use LinkedIn. I do use Indeed, Glassdoor.
Okay, so
Nigerian-
here's not this thing. Most Nigerian companies don't pay well. And I think that's especially when it comes to designers, they don't pay well designers well. Most of them still believe that too much. I know of a particular CEO. I know of a particular CEO that believes that paying you 120K is an excess. 120,000 is an excess. This woman runs an agile company, and she expects you as a designer to responsible for maintaining and for maintaining her website, for doing her social media, for doing her visuals, for managing her brand assets, all those things, all for 120,000. 120,000 that will not even get you past your gate.
Can't. This can
You
come
understand?
on.
Like it will not even get you past your gate. Stopless of going home. Yeah. So that is like. So that's the mentality of most people or most companies, and the reason for that is because the reason why they will always prioritize developers who are designers is because you cannot quantify design.
Yeah, I guess that's why we need.
Not that you can't. It's difficult to quantify design.
Like it's not tangible.
It's not tangible as such. Design is. So it's the outcome of design that is tangible.
Yeah, and that's where development comes in.
Sure, you understand. It's the outcome of design that is tangible. Right. So if you were to design like a logistics app end to end, right? The chances are the outcome is going to be a prototype from you. It's going to be a prototype at best. At worst, it's going to be like 300 screens that the organ does not even know what to make of. Do you understand? And then if you then now start saying, "Oh, we need to test this," test what? I want to make money. So then you don't now have to start going about the nightmare of educating this person that look, these are the processes that need to be taken in order for us to make a good product. Most of the time, you're just singing in their ears. They just want to push this thing to life and make money. And in a way, you can't quite blame them because it's a very competitive market out there. First to market is always the first to market is always the guy with the advantage.
Yeah, larger market share.
Larger market share, yes. Although it is not always true because sometimes first to market you do now. Person could just observe you from back. So this is what you're not doing now. Don't worry. Give us 10 minutes. Next, they launch their own product. You will be innovator now. Now you will start to copy disruptor.
Now that you say this, like, how do now target the outside Nigerian gigs, like remote jobs or like full-time outside Nigerian gigs?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to target outside Nigerian gigs, you have to start applying for outside Nigerian jobs. And there are a lot of boards online that actually allow you to apply. But don't keep your hopes too high. It's not like you cannot get recruited. I'm just saying that chances are you probably send a minimum of 300 to 400 applications before you get an interview.
Wow. Damn.
You understand? And like the only way around that around that is if you as a designer worked on an exemplary product that is making too much money and then and has a lot of clout and presence online. So if you then say, oh, okay, I did something amazing on Google, right? And I want to apply for a role at Envision because I want to try something different in my life, or MetaLab, for example, because I want to try something different in my life. They probably won't interview you. At that point, the thing transforms from an interview to a headhunt because they want you to come. Sure, you understand. And they would, at that point, like negotiation would just be, they are not calling you to come and talk about who you are, what you do, your experience, tell us what you like, your process, how much do you want, what makes you happy, how much do you want, let us come. That kind of thing. And you want, that is the ideal. You understand? Unfortunately, man, fantasies don't translate to real life. So you find yourself in those kind of scenarios whereby you literally have to beg your way into, and especially the fact that you're Nigerian, especially the fact that you're Nigerian, so it really doesn't really paint. It's not like Nigerians will get hired. Like I have a lot of people that I know that have actually gotten hired, like really good companies that pay well. They pay out as well, and it's remote. So imagine converting all that money into naira. I mean, you just be boiling for no reason. You get, but just have that mental. Just be ready, prepare your mind that you're going to do a lot of writing and a lot of application before you can even. And you require a lot of patience before you can actually get what you're looking for. That's number one. So another thing that you need. So like 3 things that you need to have handy is number 1, your cover letter. Yeah, this is outside of a portfolio, but your cover letter is. So I don't like the idea of cover letters, but apparently it's necessary. So I have to make up one. Cover. There you go. So I had to make up one.
And I think it's important to communication. You must not communicate your ideas.
Exactly. Like you must know how to communicate. No, not just communication actually, because communication is one half of the battle. Cover letters are about selling yourself in as short a period, in as few sentences as possible. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's about you trying to sell yourself and you being able to sell yourself adequately. Jesus Christ, I just committed blood there. And hefty blood at that.
Short and concise. Short and concise, like straight to the point.
Yes, very short, concise, straight to the point. Yeah. So what I have here is to the hiring manager, blah, blah, blah. I introduce myself. I talk about my experience. I talk about what I bring to the table and why they should hire me. And I become gracious and I thank them. That's it. Very simple. It doesn't need to be elaborate, long, or lengthy. Just simple stuff. What?
No, I took a fish.
Really, thief. Go and do your thief.
No, like I'll use that as an inspiration when I need to do.
So I'm just letting you know. If you get a job, 10% your first salary.
No fee now. Yeah, the boss now. No fee.
I don't hear. So back to what we're discussing about, right? You need your portfolio. You need your resume, your cover letter, and your portfolio. Those are the 3 things that are required from you at any given time when actually now applying for a job, either locally or internationally. Now, we were discussing about who our audience are. That's the people that we're trying to showcase our work. We've spoken about the creative person, typical design person, the person who has design experience and who is going to really, really analyze and appreciate your work that you've actually put in. And then we were talking about the regular recruiter. The regular recruiter just wants to make sure that he just wants to. I think the regular recruiter wants to do one of two things. Number one, he wants to make sure that his ATS is functional enough to be able to filter you positively or negatively. And what do I mean by that? If the ATS filters you positively, means that obviously you're going to get the job based on the words that you use and whatever algorithm that the ATS is using. So it's those people that are filtered positively that go ahead to the next stage and are contacted by the recruiting company. Those are filtered negatively. Obviously, you know how that happens now. They'll tell you better luck next time. They will lie to you that keep your eyes open. You never know whether there's a role for that. And like sometimes you just feel like writing them back and saying like, why are you lying to me? We both know that, man. If you didn't hire me today, you're not gonna hire me tomorrow. Let's not lie. So then the third kind of person is the orga. So these are like small companies, where they don't really have like a structure and they don't really have like HR or recruiting staff. So they manage recruiting themselves, right? So those kind of people usually, yes, they're interested in your process, but what they need you to do from first contact is that you have to impress them enough for them to want to contact you. Do you understand? Yeah. Impress them enough for them to want to contact you. Now, in all of these three, one thing is central amongst them, and this is what a lot of people don't talk about. So this is what a lot of people often want to dismiss and tell you that you should do your CV one certain way or do your portfolio in one certain way. We are in an attention economy where attention is currency, right? If what I'm looking at does not interest me or if it bores me, I will not pay attention to it. I will look for something else, right? So it's important that whatever it is that you're doing in your portfolio enables you to stand out from the competition. Because if you are able to capture, like if you're looking at a list of portfolios, right? Yeah. Some people don't even spend up to like 2 seconds. They just open it out like, this thing looks boring, close. Within that 2 seconds, you want to be able to you want to be able to design something that will hold their attention for just a little longer. If you can hold their attention for max 10 seconds, man, you have won. They will look at the rest of the portfolio. Do you understand? Hello?
That means like with this approach now, that's my name is like introduction doesn't cut it with this approach.
Who told you?
Like stick to the point what you can do.
This is what I'm using, and I can do this because I'm Leslie. Well, it doesn't now mean that you should follow this approach. There are lots of portfolios out there. Let's take a look at some. So if you check a typical award site, for example, or let's even look at Site Inspire. I think Site Inspire is another good place to. Site Inspire. All right, so let's look at portfolio. Very good. Portfolio. There we go. 13 websites and oh geez, portfolios in my life. There we go. So let's check that out. This is types, promotional product portfolio. Let's look at personal first. Let's see, Joshua Kaplan. It's no website. It's gonna be hung, but it's not a good time for this shit to hang, man. Brilliant. All right. So let's take a look at some of these people's portfolios and see how they are, structured and organized and whatnot. Right.
Like this grid based one.
This one, visual designer
Yeah.
based in Belgium.
That first page is very important.
Yeah, because that's what actually it holds your attention. So, man. So one of the things I learned when I was a lot earlier in my career as a designer was how to design landing pages. In fact, I learned how to design landing pages so good that I could design a landing page and the rest of the sites could be shit, but that landing page, oh god, that was the main fire. And the reason for that was the landing page is what makes most people to make that decision, to take that decision on whether or not to continue to engage with the sites. Do you get?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see now. This is someone's portfolio. His resume is here. Pretty sure he's not interested in a lot of people saying that because Jesus, so far here. Experience, Zitan, UI UX, storytelling, graphic design, motion graphics, blog, coding, more fun to see how design works, know more about Z. All right, so I am Z, representing 6 years experience, conceptualizing, that's her email, and this is her resume. And this is a photo of her. And you can see that the way she structured her portfolio is very, very simple, but it's easy to navigate. That's not too much fluff, and it's also unusual because you kind of, yeah.
It's not the regular ones you normally
exactly
see.
It's unusual. It's unusual. So and then her what's it called? That resume is here as well. So but that's a different story. All right, so let's look at this person, a visual designer based in Belgium. Get in touch. Portfolio of Glenn Cathew. So you scroll. Why in God's green earth is this thing? I don't understand what this thing is doing. Whatever. All right, let's see what this is. Art director and digital product designer. Explore, observe, create. So this is the title, obviously. And then he has a place where he showcases his work, a place where he showcases his experiments, a place where he writes about his thoughts, and a place where we find more about it. So let's check out his work. Good stuff.
Like typographic based portfolios.
Yeah, as in they're usually delights to look at, to be honest. So if we click on this, let's see where it takes us to. Paved.
I think what's like discourages people from creating portfolios is lack of work to show.
Well, yes and no. It's yes in the sense that a lot of people don't really have. So here's the thing: if you're an early career designer, right? What I mean by early career, I don't like to use the term junior, senior. First of all, because in my time, I've discovered that a lot of people that I consider junior have the capacity to out-design a lot of senior designers.
Yeah.
But what separates them is experience.
Experience, yeah.
Yeah, understand. And that junior senior thing is just title. Let's be honest. So
yeah.
I think that be more exactly. So a more appropriate way to do that is okay, man, just divide them into early stage designers and then established designers or professional designers or whatnot. So a lot of people who are actually early stage designers often make this mistake that after a year I need to have my portfolio out. I have no right to have a portfolio after 1 year. You have no right to have a portfolio after 2 years. Maybe
Yeah.
your third year. Maybe your third year. All right. Maybe your third year you can then start putting together one. But
I think I have an idea now to just
yeah,
design my portfolio and the work like sub page can be empty while I
the
fill in
what?
the others. Like
The what?
the work page where I show my works can be
Mhm.
empty. I can like design the other pages now and just like explore it until I fill it up with like work.
Let me tell you why that's a bad idea. If you do it now, by the time
Yeah.
your work is ready, let's say 2022,
Yeah, you've improved a lot.
you have improved a lot, and then you
Again.
will have you have started it. So just
Yeah.
take your time. Take your time. Put in the
Okay.
work. Do a lot of work. If you have an
Work.
Instagram where you can post your work, that's fine. Just put your stuff on Instagram. If you feel encouraged to put some of your work on Behance, go ahead, put it on Behance. If you have a Dribble account, you can put it on one things. But to have like a more solid portfolio, you don't have the amount of experience yet.
Yep.
So but you can build that experience. You just don't have it yet. And that's where a lot of people actually struggle. So I think that's like my advice. Like take your time, build yourself,
Okay.
build capacity. And then
Yeah.
when you've got to start point whereby you can say, okay, I have like 4 or 5 things I can showcase, and I can document those 4 or 5 things that I can showcase properly and articulately to communicate my process, then I can then say I want to have a portfolio. So if you backtrack a little bit here, I said something about documenting your process. I think that's
Yeah.
the second reason why a lot of people don't have portfolios, me inclusive.
Just vibes.
No, it's not just vibes, because so here's the challenge with documenting your process. Elizabeth, are you with me?
Can you like
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, sorry. Brian, hey, good evening. What's up, man? Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. Elizabeth, I'll get to your work soon. I just want to walk through this. I just want to walk through this gist so that everybody has like a good idea of how to actually treat their portfolios. We're going to be talking portfolios all month. You understand? All month. So every Friday for this month, we're going to be dealing with portfolios. Hopefully by next week or we can get someone who can actually talk more on portfolios. Hopefully it's also I want to be able to get a recruiter or someone who hires designers to go and talk about what they expect to see when when they're reviewing portfolios. Is that cool, everyone?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you know my biggest problem right now? I don't have a flyer or a banner for this thing. It freaks me out. Like I always remember to delete that. Oh shit, I should have a banner for this shit. But that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Can a beginner ask a question on this platform? Because I just joined once.
Oh, please. Yes, ask questions, man. Like half your work in this as a designer is questions.
Okay, yeah. There is a particular group I was on recently, so we were arguing concerning a job description. So according to the job description, they said they needed a UI UX designer, a product designer, or something like that. I can't remember vividly. So I was now like confused. What really is the difference between those two words? Like, I believe initially I thought they were used interchangeably, but now it seems a product designer is quite different from a UI UX designer.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let me break it down for you now. You know that the title of UI UX is not a real title.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a real title. It's a title that came across. Okay, let me start from the beginning. Now, there's a role of a UI designer. Right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, sure.
What is the role of a UI designer?
for the interface, just the visual aspects of design.
The visual look and feel experience, all those kind of things, right? Good, fine. What is the role of a UX person, the UX designer?
So I think the UX designer is responsible for the experience the user gets from using the interfaces, like the placement of in terms of the color, the placement and the arrange. I don't know.
That's layout. Okay, no, so you're actually getting backwards. That's
Yeah,
is
mixing
the
up.
job of a UI. That too is the job of a UI designer. The UX guy is more responsible, yes, for the experience. But what he does is that he goes out there to go and research. He says his job is to sit down, talk to users, gather their pain points, translate those, do lots of research, do lots of testing, do lots of analysis of data that he has gathered from the field, and then presents this data to the team, and then gives this data to maybe like the product manager or the product owner, so that they can analyze, and they're able to like synthesize some kind of hypothesis that they can test for that, or they can actually use what they've gathered to now start drawing out features for whatever product that they're working on. So it's now from those features, or whatever document that those features live in, will now be given to the UI designer for you to now design from end to end. Now,
okay, so what's now the difference between the UX designer and the UX researcher?
Oh, the UI designer and the UX researcher. Well, let's see. One does more design than research, and the other one does more research than design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually currently taking the foundational aspect of UX design. Google's UX design. So they refer to it generally as UX design, and
Yes.
they listed some subcategories like the visual design, the UX researcher, UX engineer, and so on like that, and the UX writer inclusive. So
yeah, there are a variety of titles that you can
I
actually
think
generate for that UX.
it's more like specialization. Like they are specializing in a part of the stuff itself, like researcher, UI, UX. You are pinning down to one niche of the whole profession.
Okay.
Exactly. Actually, that is actually the cocoa of it, because there are like a variety of specializations that you can still, and also bear in mind that this thing that we all call UX, UI is actually a subcategory of it at the end of the day.
Yeah. I feel like you can't do UI without UX. That was my view generally, like personally.
You can,
like
definitely, but you can do UX without UI.
You can do UX without UI. So, and especially in Nigeria, there's no point differentiating between the two, because you'll be asked to do the two in this country.
So, and that is where, and this thing you just said, Yinka, gave birth to this term called UI, UX, because the expectation is that, exactly. So the expectation is that
you can do your, like, can be a researcher abroad and you're still enjoying your life. You can be just a UI designer. You don't do user flows. You don't do it.
They'll just say that so this is documentation, this is the feature, so yes, design from here to here, finish. And one of the reasons why they like Nigerians is that over there now, those ones, they can lounge, they can think about it. 2 months, they are still designing. Your Nigerian designer, 3 weeks, they don't finish.
It's hard working, like we have that energy, that drive.
Because time no day, 3 weeks you don't finish. I had this friend of mine like this, that he was hired, and as they hired him, they put him straight into work. You understand? And they told the client that this thing is going to take two months to do. This nigga finished this shit over the weekend, and his bosses were shocked. Like, yo, okay, first of all, we can't pay you for this because you worked over the weekend.
I think they make the work easy for us to do. Like, like in this country now, as a designer, you have to figure out research on your own. You have to figure out the UX part, and now coming to the UI, like everything, but like they've done the part they're supposed to do, and we just take.
I won't go as far as saying that you have to figure out research on our own.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it too. So yeah. Okay, when you're done.
So some companies, what some companies do is that they do the research by themselves. But the thing is, because they are responsible for doing the research, more often than not, there is a certain level of bias
Yeah.
Sure, you understand. Some people aren't really careful enough to actually separate actual research from their own bias feelings. So by the time they infuse that bias feelings and they present good bias and research to you, you can't tell the difference. Now, and also because they will not give you leeway to actually do your own research, they'll tell you that okay, this is the features, so you go live. Or
Yeah.
start designing so that we can go live. It becomes a serious problem. So I mean that's pretty much how it is here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, so the job of the product designer, right, is basically the guy who starts the process from beginning right up until
Line from beginning to end.
from conceptualization to spotting opportunities to problem. He might even be involved in strategy and business modeling. He might be involved. He might not necessarily be pointsman or championing, but he might be involved. Yeah, he'll be involved in research, gathering and analyzing data, trying to pick themes and forming hypotheses. He might be involved in interviewing, talking to users. He might be involved in maybe he might even be involved in actually even feature specking, that's drawing out features from all the data that he has actually collected.
And
He'll be responsible for wireframing, for testing wireframing as well. He'll be responsible for high definition mockups, for prototyping, for interactions, for testing, the finished prototype, the full cycle.
Some people won't be scared.
Yeah, sorry.
Like it's more of a collaborative. Some people won't be scared of because when they you draw it.
So no. So no. More often than not, it's a collaborative effort. But in a scenario where you find yourself and more often than not, you find yourself in a scenario where you are the only designer in an organization, you have to do these things.
Yeah.
If you want like a great product, you have to do these things. And if the people who hired you don't believe in the value of these things, you have to demonstrate the value of these things to them, so that you are able to actually come up with a great product and you're not just collecting salary. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the success of the product actually ensures that you get paid.
Yeah, success. Yeah.
So that's that about that. So after testing and or whatnot, I now have to hand off to the developers and then still follow up with them so that there is a consistency, everything is done well, everything is done properly. They don't go and then there are also instances whereby even though you've designed it, there are some things that you might have to change.
Yeah.
And that later on, and you have to be aware of those changes and come up with like compromises or quick fixes for those things. So you are from beginning to end as a product designer. You are present. You're present in every step.
Yeah, but I think like this product designer stuff, like you go into it, you don't just like be a product. Yeah, you go into a product designer.
No, you grow into it. Yeah, you do. You don't your wake up and say, "Behold, I am now a product designer." No, nobody will take it seriously.
Experience. Yeah, so I was saying like I have this issue with such, especially I don't think it makes sense. Those like sending surveys up and down for people to help you fill and is there a better way around that?
Okay, so here's the thing. There are two ways when you're doing this when you're collecting data and when you're doing that kind of research. Now, in UX, you should be familiar with qualitative and quantitative research, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now, so you should be familiar with the fact that quantitative research surveys are a form of quantitative research.
Yeah.
Good. And you should also know that you can't really have like a good research or you can't really have like a good customer research session without having both qualitative and quantitative. Now, besides surveys, I think surveys like the most popular is the most popular quantitative is the most popular and is the least expensive quantitative research methodology. You can another way you can calm down. This guy. I know that you're excited. I know you're excited. Calm down.
I was in a live stream. I guess last year or so.
last year. It was around this period that I saw you last.
No, but we haven't like spoken in a while now. In a
We
while,
have not. Have you been, Sha? Have you been?
as me and Nana as well. I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine.
All right. So back to what I was saying. Yeah. So I think another quantitative method would be like holding workshops. So you gather like a bunch of people, I think like 10, 15, 20. You bring them in the room and they just basically start asking them questions, right? And then or you could either ask them questions or you can even like moderate some kind of discussion and then just basically try and get like a feel of it. Right. Now, outside of that, you now start crossing into qualitative, whereby you now sit down with people one-on-one and then actually interview them. But the problem with qualitative is that in as much as it goes deep, it doesn't really go wide.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that you might really sit down and like get to know a customer like in depth, but you can't really get to know 300 people that method because it's not cost effective or it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Just like when you're doing your quantitative, it's good wide, but it's not good deep because when you're doing quantitative surveys and things like that, you get generic responses, but you don't know the why behind the responses.
Yeah. And you won't be lucky to get responses. Like you won't be lucky if you get responses.
Oh no, so also again, it not depends because yeah, you're actually right. Sometimes you might be lucky to get, sometimes you might be unlucky to get. Like the last survey, me and Anna even did that. We were lucky to even get like 97 people. Lucky.
Man, that's the part I don't like. Like, let me feel this stuff. Is 1 minute. Like, why? There should be a true song.
The reason is that people don't like these surveys. It's very exhausting.
Leslie.
Yes.
Will it be reasonable to like combine the two form of research together, like the qualitative and the quantitative?
It's not reasonable. It's bloody ideal.
Yeah.
It's the expectation.
Okay.
Because you can't have one without the other. Both of them provide unique insights that are vital to the formation of whatever hypothesis or whatever thing that you're trying to test or research on.
Okay. Yeah, so, I have this question concerning design systems. Design systems, are they to be designed before starting the design, after?
My brother,
just
we are not here to discuss design systems, but to answer your question, no, design systems are not. Okay, let me answer it. Design systems are not things that you design before the project. You design it while the project is going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And more often than not, usually when you start your design system, like I think I was talking to design systems are like a combination of three things. Number one, the pattern library, your brand assets, and your code base. So you understand. And usually more often than not, you start with, depending from where you want to start. If you're starting from branding, it's your brand assets that come first. Then after that, your pattern library, which is like your UI, your UI elements, and then finally your code base. That's translation of either your brand assets or your UI elements into code. That's it.
Bro, I don't think it's something you do while you're designing. Like it's something you do when. I don't think it's something you do while you do style guide while you're designing. System is like you aggregating all your stuff together as a company or as an outfit and set standards going forward.
Yeah, but okay, so if I get you correct, you're saying that a style guide is a style guide is basically what you do while designing. Yeah. What do you think a pattern library is?
Pattern library.
The style guide is calm down, don't panic. If the pattern library is the fancy name for your style guide, I don't even know whether they are literally the same thing. And the reason why it's even called the library is because that's where all your visual assets actually go to. That's where. So if you look at okay, let me show you what we have for MoneyPoint.
So you don't have to start from scratch every time.
So this is my pattern library from one point. These are where all my inputs are.
It's like a
These are where
system
all
now.
my buttons. But it's just for design. It hasn't been translated to code yet. Although they're working on it.
Okay.
These are where all my icons are, and I update them almost every day.
So it's when it's translated to code that it's not like a design system.
Remember, your design system is three things. One,
Okay.
brand assets. Two, pattern library. Three, code base. Once you have those three, you have a design system.
Okay. Very nice.
Ah, of course, variants, man. Jesus Christ.
Very
Fucking,
man.
fucking helpful.
I understand how to lay out. So it's a lot now. Very like I don't know. I guess
No, don't
I'll
worry.
get
You trust me. You get it. You get it. You get it. All right. So let's continue our discussion on portfolios. We've already tracked away. Where did we stop?
thing we're talking about last night. I remember is research. Like he asked about quantitative. Yeah.
No, that was when someone. That was when one of you actually sidetracked me to UI UX. Before that. Anyways, so let me go back to my feedback. I think what my
I think you were actually showing us some examples.
yes, I'll show you examples. I'll show you examples. Yeah. So this is a case study, right?
More.
Although I think this is more of a showcase than an actual case study because I don't think this guy actually went through the nightmare of showing you, oh, okay, this is how we researched, and this is how we. It's a showcase. This is a showcase. Right. So, hold on. Let me hide this. Thank you. Let's see if there's more to be done. Yes, this is the correct one. Visual design based in Belgium.
Nice. Feels like your style.
This is more like my style, actually.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, man. I don't know how long I can maintain that style because like everything I do is basically timed. I'm like, okay, this there's a time for it, and once I get too used to that style, I'm like, all right, so what else? What other style can I explore? The Morgan 2020. All right, so agency, year, role. So you'll notice that I think this is a case study. Is this a case study or a showcase? Yeah, this is a showcase.
Looking like 3D stuff to me. Looking like 3D stuff to me.
It is actually. So the thing now is a lot of people often misconceive. No, I'm serious. Like the thing that a lot of people often misconceive is that
I'm thinking this one will stress the recruiter, like for they get the hang of the navigation.
oh no. It's not going to scare anybody because it's clear.
Okay, maybe because live stream.
Mhm. It's clear. So by the time, I think a lot of mistake. I think one primary mistake a lot of people actually make when they are putting together their case study is that they treat the case study as if it's a showcase when it's supposed to be a case study. Now those two things are different. Now you can actually have a case study and have a showcase. A showcase is what I just showed you now. You're just showing screens. You're just showing the design, right? You're not really sharing your process. You're not really sharing. And there's really nothing bad about having a showcase. In fact, I love showcases. You understand? Because they're a lot easier for you to just knock out and put out there, and you can tell a lot about the thoughts and the care that went into a showcase, right? But in the event of a case study now, like Jesus, I don't know. Jesus, 1 minute. Let me see if there's anyone I can quickly make from here. I think this is a recent one. All right, so Magdalena Raymond. I don't talk about myself in third person, sorry. Not sorry. Projects, info, you can tell that this thing is like very, very unusual.
Yeah, personal touch to it.
And oh my gosh, this is a whiskey. So I think this person is a Nigerian.
That name doesn't sound.
No, because the use of oh my god, this is
African.
Might be African, most likely, but projects, random stuffs, projects. All right, let's see projects.
But like I'm still thinking about all this like out of the norm style. Won't the recruiters won't they get pissed off trying to know how to like get what they really want?
See, let me tell you why you're thinking like that. You're thinking like that because that is what you are familiar with here in Nigeria. Over there, this is the expectation. So which then boils back to my initial know who your audience are, know who you are, identify them, who you are showcasing, and then how to actually design something that will capture the attention and hold it. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so let's look at some case studies.
Case study. Remember that when that word was like one of those buzzwords? Case study.
It's still a buzzword.
Well, they make it seem like it's one like research paper or so.
Like I was reading one case study, and the thing I just kept on scrolling, and I was like, yo,
don't read. Like people are lazy.
I was just scrolling. I'm like, yo, when is this shit gonna end, man? Oh, this person, this is dope. This is dope.
Branding.
Project info. Majority is the first financial service for migrants offering banking and money transfer. Together with majority thing, I was working on an app experience for the design system, research, interaction design, blah, 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 blah. Majority fan, both Scandinavian and Victor Erickson. Product design, UX. Yeah?
Is UI UX is not app design? Like why is she like bringing app design out of the UI UX? I don't understand.
Some people calm down. Look, let me tell you something. You need to get to the point whereby you need to be able to identify when someone is writing fluff and when they're writing the real thing. Half the things that are here is actually just fluff. Everything that she wrote on that here, design system, research, UI UX, product design, app design, art direction. No, not art direction. Usability testing. All of them are things that are supposed to fall under product design. But what she just did, or what he just did, whatever, basically just identified, just wrote down the things that she did.
Okay.
Do you get? So
for people that understand those terms, like, okay, I make sense now.
So don't fall into the trap of fluff. Okay. Don't fall into the trap of fluff.
As I'm seeing this stuff now, I feel like designing mine. But that works to show. That works to show.
Johnson
Cool,
and
you know,
Johnson
thank you.
360 virtual tour. Yeah. Team deliverables live demo. More about the process. So I think she just highlights. Now this is a case study.
Yeah, this is it. Double diamond stops. Chat, man.
Why is this thing disappearing? Okay. Jesus knows why that shit. This is very sharp. Let's continue. User journey, blah 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 blah. All those kind of things. So this is the main thing. 360. Enter Johnson and Johnson story. Explore for the icons, and then 360 virtual tour and all right, so that's that about that. All right, so let's. I mean, I think we've seen everything that we need to see. So let's just go about what we know. A typical portfolio. Yeah, a typical portfolio. Things you actually consider is usually the layout and then the navigation. And what does that mean? It means how are you presenting your design? That's number one. And how easy is it for them to locate specific details? Things like what are the things you worked on, or things like your resume, or things like how to contact you, right? So those are the things that you actually have to, those are the things that you actually have to consider when you're actually designing, especially your landing page for your portfolio. So a typical portfolio, usually has like a home page, an about us page, a page where all your case studies are, and a way by which you can contact, a way by which you can actually be contacted, right? And some people go as far as actually including blog, if they are like more aspire to perspire type of designers, they have like a schedule where they actually, for people that like to give talks and things of that nature. So yeah, that's pretty much like that. So, and the homepage is, so you notice that most designers here like to, at least most modern designers like to keep everything on a single page, right? Yeah. Right. So on that single page, what they will have is, maybe like a brief about me, if possible, and then they just go right into its case studies, and then at the bottom they have a way by which you can contact them, and I think that's similar to what I did here. So it's what I did here was just very, very minimal. For my logo here, about me, my name, some very nice things I think I am. And then my featured work, straight to the point. Monify, money point, along midnight, and fair money. And then ways by which you can be contacted. That's it. Simple. Now, where the real work lies is here, where you're writing out your case studies, because you're going to do a lot more writing than actual designing. Yeah. Right. So let's talk briefly about, let's talk briefly about how to now present your case studies. Elizabeth, are you still here? Okay, I think she's still here.
I'm here.
I don't talk. Slap it off each one once. Let me see. Sorry, hold on. Let's check something. Major bug fixes, okay. Start just 10. Mhm. Okay, did not implement this thing yet. Banjuku, welcome. Okay, so let's talk briefly about the structure of a typical case study, right? Now, in a typical case study, when people are reviewing or analyzing your work, they want to see interested more in your process than your visuals. Now, if you want to just showcase your visuals, you just want to just show your visuals, that means you're doing a showcase. Now, some people might think that like a showcase is good, right? Or is like it's enough ground by which they can actually be hired, and that is fair. Mostly because if for example you're an established designer, right? And you're quite popular, you're quite known, you work for a big company, like, do you really want to go through the nightmare of sharing your thought process and your research? Just look, I did it, look at it, it's fine, admire it, then hire me. Don't stress my life. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So wait, I think I'm missing something. Hold on, I need to check something. I'm pretty sure nobody's there. Pretty confident nobody's there. Okay. Yep, thought as much. Nobody's here. This is depressing. Okay, so I just spoke about showcases, right? Now, case studies are more, like I said, case studies are more like a deep dive into how you actually thought about a problem and how you solved that problem right now. So first of all, you have to describe the problem. You have to so that's the challenge, right? You have to describe the problem. What is the problem? What problem are you trying to solve? Are you trying to increase sales for a company? Are you trying to create a new app to fix a particular problem? Are you trying to automate a system? You need to be able to frame the problem, capture it, and describe it for people that are watching or the people that are reading. The next thing now is for you to now show the steps you took in solving this problem. Now, the steps usually include, okay, so what did you do? Did you conduct interviews? Did you engage in research? Did you analyze data? What did the data tell you? What were the deductions you made? Did you need to go and do some more research? what were the constraints that you had when you were doing your research, those kind of things. And then, all right, so after all that, you came together, you did your user journey map, you did your empathy map, you did your user stories, you did your storyboarding, you did all manner of things. You've drawn out your features, you've done your wireframe, you've done your high fidelity, and then you've done your prototype, and then you hand off to the developer. After that, you then dive straight into the presentation. Presentation is where you now show the actual meat of the work, like your design, your wireframes, all those kind of things. That's where you showcase all the images and shit like that. So then after that, after all of that, you now create a special section for impact. Now the impact usually is like a way of bragging. It's a way of bragging and saying that, okay, because I was involved in this project and because of the approach that I took or that we took, this is what happened. This is the value that we provided for the company. That kind of thing. So those are the different steps. Now let me show you how I broke it down here.
Boss, you know, go like add me to this your case study. Make my file like this. More take draw inspiration.
William, you're going to find you.
Yeah, that's like
Thief.
Let's literally add women to his case studies. No men allowed.
As in
actually that's an
I don't die.
you know, just straight to the point, background, problem, challenge, solution, which I like.
By the way, Leslie, we get
Yeah.
gist though, but I'm not going to talk anything. But no worry, just finish.
All right, no.
Yeah, we get the gist they pay as I they talk, but no worry. We just
Jesus
dey guy. We go talk later at the call.
All right.
Is there like a rule to all these case studies and solution?
Sorry, what?
Is it like a pattern to the whole plenty from the problem to the challenge to the solution to the user research to the personas to the is it a must to do many things?
I won't say it's a must, but I think there's a sequence to it. I won't say there's a sequence to it. I think that's a.
if there's something you didn't, you don't need like you just focus on the ones you did.
Exactly, yeah. So in this scenario, there is Jesus Christ. This is
I'm saying this length when there's code till infinity like this. Where I'm seeing the length of this side, like when there's code till infinity.
they're the ones that say, fam, they're the ones that say they want to see case study. Now you show them case study. You don't need to panic about it. Why is this thing refreshing? God. Ugh. Okay.
You're not using grids, you're using more of rulers.
Did I use grids for this thing? I think I think I just used like fast grids for this thing. I didn't really like settle down and say I wanted to use like this specific grid. Let me check. I use columns, yes.
Okay.
And I use horizontal grids, yes. Well, I found out that it was easier for me to just do like fast grids instead of. It was easier for me to do fast grids.
I don't think that rules like is I don't know. Like you can.
It's
You
flexible.
can.
It's not really. You can choose to stick with it. You can choose to break it. Just you don't just you don't. There are a lot of people that take it for like they take it as the law. There are a lot of people that just take it as law, and that's all well and good. But sometimes I just play fast.
For the margins on the outside makes sense, and there's no white space. Everything will make sense.
This was edited 7 years ago. Who edited it? Hey, jeez. Because I know I did not edit this shit 7 days ago. Okay, let's see. Mobile. Oh boy. Yes. So this was the one I was working on with Nana.
Yeah.
Okay. So press play. I don't know why my fake mice.
Slowing down.
Oh, as in my system just slowing down. My fake mice acting up. I don't know. Something is running that really should not be running. Okay, there's Zoom, which is cool. And then there's Figma, which is also cool. So who is running that shouldn't be running?
Man, I think I might have to leave soon. No.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but I think
we'll soon be wrapping up.
my time, like,
Hmm?
and I think I enjoyed so far. I enjoyed it so far, and I have a better understanding of how portfolio and case study works now.
Good. My assistant taking his time. Oh, good.
Right, Leslie, thanks. I think
well,
this guys, Malio, they brought out a new game. I think it makes sense from what I saw the preview. I'm happy, like the company is doing well. I'm happy. Although
what's the name of the game?
What was it? It's something downfall race. Yeah, downfall racer. Downfall racer. They are going to that 3D space. I think that makes sense.
Well, I'm kind of glad that I did my time at Malio, man.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
All right, man. Take care. This thing is going to take the rest of forever just to do it, man.
Leslie, when do we get to review your own portfolio?
Because I've not finished working on it now.
How long will you take it to do this portfolio?
So okay, so here's not a challenge. Now look, take money. No, Monify, for example, is done. Yeah, money points. I have to read 2 money points. The reason for that is because money points, the app was redesigned from ground up. I had to rework the entire app. So I don't know if you check the if you check App Store or Play Store, look for money points. You should see something. You should see something. Download the app, try it out. Tell me what you think.
I've seen the app. It's better than my own company's app. So yeah. You don't look. There's no matter how much you claim to be hardworking, it doesn't hold water near me. So just calm down. At least you are making progress with your work. So calm down.
Yeah.
Anyway. This week I didn't do anything.
This
Oh, why? What happened?
guy, I've been watching Netflix. No work now. Well,
Oh.
mostly, and most of the things we're doing is mostly hiring and stuff like that. That's stuff that I posted on the group. So just selecting, probably do the interviews on Monday. I'm
Okay.
just so probably, hopefully, if we need to hire more, we'll probably do this in. But for now, I think it's just about 3 or 4 designers we need. So most of what I've been worried about now is the questions, all those technical lamba. Because me, I don't know how to talk all those things. I'm not gonna lie you. I know Zabi. I even need to have a discussion with this because I'm thinking of how to work with. No, I don't understand. I'm thinking of how to work with designers, like how do your process and things like that. You're thinking behind that because. Especially when you are working in a company with diverse products, like 7, let's say 9 or 10 products, how do you all the designers all at once collaborate? Like what's the process you take? You know, your company now is more like a flat structure, so it's easier.
Yeah.
But because this one, there's a hierarchy, like you have manager 1, manager 2, general manager, head of group heads, all those technical lamba. So a lot of things are just titles. So, but we'll have that conversation later.
No.
Who has listened to that? Who has listened to Donda?
I have not. Although I listened to like the first and second track, and so far I was really impressed. However, it would seem that Drake's album is not as impressive. It's based on what people have been.
What people are saying, Abby.
Yeah.
Because I heard again, same thing too. I heard like 3 songs. I was like, I will listen to this when I'm ready. I think the intro song with Jay-Z, that was just good. One thing about me is I'll first listen to all of Kanye's previous albums first to pre-listen and prepare myself mentally. And now,
okay, I think my Figma has successfully crashed, and I'm having serious RAM issues.
I just checked now. 27 songs, guy. So long.
27 songs.
Let me check.
When it's not a podcast, it's not.
So I think it kind of like justifies the many delays.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Kind of justifies the many delays.
So I go use better JP or earpiece tape last time.
Okay, while that is happening, I don't know if Elizabeth is still on this call, but let me just quickly.
Yeah, she's still here.
Oh Jesus! Simple mock-up. The link. Oh Jesus! The link. Come on. Because WebGL is not supported, I need to restart this browser. Or hey David, welcome. Hey, what's up? Hello. Okay. So okay, so let's zoom in. Jesus Christ, come on, man. So it's Also with this thing these days. All right, Elizabeth, let's look at your stuff. Smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. Donate now. What's the size of the screen? 1440. Okay, that's fine. Did you use grids for this thing? Okay, this. I've looked into verify my email now. Why is this thing being needed? Verify my email. Yeah, go ahead. Did you use grids?
Not really.
Why?
I used the 1 column grid though, but it was just to mark the edge.
Okay. So why is this thing not letting me log in? All right, so let's open it and see. All right, so back to this. Yeah. So what we did was that we spoke about the company, gave a bit of background, highlighted the challenge, and then we started talking about steps by which we actually used to solve it. So this is basically what we did in terms of research. We did like some surveys, we did some one-on-one interviews, we created like an empathy map, and then we started working on creating personas. And then the design process itself, product design process. So here you see the wireframes, and here you then start seeing like more detailed things like your onboarding screens, and other stuff. It's not complete, but hopefully by God's grace, I'll have more ample time to wrap this up. This, on the other hand, so if I applied a grid, 1 column grid, wow. All right. So first of all, let me tell you, that is never the best idea. It's never the best idea because it doesn't give you enough space to play with and get creative with. So what I'll do is I'll do like a regular auto left. I think this is 88 and this is 16 or 32. 16. Yeah, that's correct. And then you start aligning what you've worked on to your grids. Okay, obviously I can't really do much about this one, so I'll just let it end here. This is most definitely the navigation. So just keep it here, which is fine. Which is fine. These 2 buttons here. So it's a lot clearer. Africa.
I wanted it to align with the picture at the background.
Okay, I understand what you're trying to do. That's good. So let's see, how does it work? So here you see the problem with your grid. It begins to make things just seem out of place. So let's take this here. So it's just feel like a back and forth thing. Left, right, right, left, left, right, 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 left. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Good. So let's keep it like this. Stretch it this way. So I'm not like doing like a proper design thing. So you probably have to like go back to your on your own and
Yeah.
do it. But let this have like a proper spacing. Yeah. Because it looks very, very cramped. So maybe like
Okay.
increase it so that it has like some
Okay.
space to breathe. Right. Make this text, this text a little bit bigger so that it's a lot more distinct.
Okay.
All right, so this is fine. This is also fine, but this is unnecessary. It's out of place.
Okay.
This background that you pick is absolutely out of place. Do something else, but don't use this. It's out of place.
Okay.
Okay, this is fine. This is also okay. This is fine. This is fine. I think overall, if we were to grade this, then I'll probably give it like a fair 5. Fair 5 because over 10 actually. Fair 5 because you have some good ideas, but you just need your ideas just need polishing. Okay. All right. In light of actually, I think I shouldn't be going now because I need to run an errand very quickly. Thank you guys for coming to the stream. This is the beginning of the series. We still have like 3 more sessions this month for reviewing portfolios and talking more about portfolios.
Thank you. Really appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you, Silas.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll see each other. Elizabeth, we are seeing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everyone else, see you guys next week. Okay.
I'll take it.
Bye.